I was thinking of myself. Phew, I would have asked you to marry me. Anyway, yours is a grand position. I envy you. It's something for a profiteer's daughter to have turned down a duke.
George, many years ago there was a butcher's shop. An august person passing it one day was not attracted by the meat in the shop, but by the butcher's wife. The butcher, with an ambitious eye to a knighthood, encouraged him to pass it frequently, with the result he became a baronet. The butcher's wife was also encouraged. She acquired an ambition, so she left the butcher, with the result a son was born, a duke. So far as I can see, the only difference between our families is my father only profiteered in pickles.
Yeah. What are you laughing at?
You're divine, George, dear. I hope I shall always know you.
Hasn't Richard brought tea yet?
No. Poor darling, is he making tea?
I told him to bring it ages ago. Thought you were going for a walk.
George and I decided that as the sun had gone and as it was very comfortable here, we wouldn't.
Is anything the matter with him?
George has had some rather bad news.
Is it bad enough?
I think so.
That's splendid.
Here we are. A little tea, a little cake, a little toast. And who cooked it, I ask?
And who forgot to send my telegram, may I ask?
All right, I'll go down after tea and send it.
It looks sad all the evening. No, thank you, Richard.
If you'd had the telephone put in, you could have had 1,000,000 books a day.
I am not in the happy position of being able to spend pounds on a telephone that one would only use for a few weeks of the year. But perhaps you are.
You don't look at all W-E-double-L.
Certainly not.
Will you stop that whispering?
Do you begin to see the likeness, George? Where are you going, George?
I'm going to the village.
Oh.
I'm going to send that telegram that Richard forgot to send for you.
Have your tea first, George.
Thank you. It's very kind of you, Maria. Thank you.
Any sugar there, Richard?
Sugar? No, I'm afraid I forgot it.
You're tired. I'll get it.
All this before he sets fire to the house?
I don't think so.
Something's wrong with him.
Sorry I've been so long.
George, old dear.
Yes.
Are you feeling all right?
Yes. Quite all right.
He's not. You know, his grandmother was a little touched.
Ah! It's pretty, isn't it?
Take it off, Richard, I'm suffering.
So sorry, Maria. I'd only put it on for your sake. I'll take it off.
George, we've had enough of this.
Enough of what?
This tomfoolery. Can't you see you're frightening Maria?
I'm sorry, Maria. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Really. Forgive me.
Look, George, careful, old boy, careful.
I'm only going to do the washing up. Please finish your tea. I'm just going to put the kettle on.
What's he doing?
He's kicked the coal scuttle. He struck a match. No, it's all right. He's lit a cigarette. Richard, I'm going to my room. Fetch the doctor and ask him to take him away. And if George asks where I am, tell him I've gone for a long walk.
Long walk?
Very long walk.
What's the matter with him?
Nothing at all. I put him over my knee and smacked him hard for the first time in his life, that's all. Shall I see you before you go, George?
No.
Very well. Pleasant journey. And if ever another girl falls in love with you, marry her the next day. It's your only chance, my sweet.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
She's been hurling those things at me in dozens.
I don't understand a damn word you're talking about. But why have you been behaving like an idiot and frightening Maria and all of us?
I wanted it to be known that if I choose, I'm not a bit like Maria. Heavens, that's hurt me badly.
What are you talking about?
Now, don't tell me I'm a liar, because I'm not. What do you think she said to me when I asked her to marry me?
What?
She said that I was an ass. I'm conceited. I'm selfish. I nag. I'm the descendant of a prostitute.
No. No.
I tell you I am, at least she says I am. And I'm a bore. I'm everything that's wrong.
Well, well. I'm amazed.
What about me? What do you think I am?
Are you better?
I was never ill.
Well, I should like to tell you your behavior was perfectly disgraceful.
And shall I tell you why my behavior was perfectly disgraceful?
I should like to know.
I wanted it to be known, once and for all, that I have nothing in common, nor am I in the least like...
George.
Very well, Richard, for your sake. But I'm writing to you, Maria.
It would please me very much if you gave that young man up as a friend.
Oh, he's not a bad fellow. He's just a little...
I should like to think that you have given him up.
Yes. I see your point.
I've had a telegram. Their servants are unable to come.
Oh. Why?
They've sent me an extremely rude telegram, refusing.
Oh, the brutes. No matter. If you'll allow me to, I will continue to do my best whilst you're here.
Oh, thank you, Richard. That's very kind of you. Although we've only been here 3 weeks, I want to tell you something.
It's all right, Maria. I know.
How do you know? Would you please be silent while I speak? What I have to say is a little embarrassing, and you might realize it.
Yes, I know, and I'm sorry.
I brought you here for the purpose of finding out, as you know, that if we married, would there be a chance of us both being happy?
Yes, quite. Now, I would like to say that
Would you please be quiet?
Sorry.
When I left London, I liked you very much. I almost believed that you possessed qualities that would endear yourself to me.
I know.
But I had no idea, Richard, how nice you really are.
What did you say?
What I was going to say when you interrupted me was that you are 1,000 times nicer than I thought you were.
No, 1 minute.
And would you please give me 1 minute whilst I finish what I was going to say?
Sorry, go on.
And I'm not only going to marry you...
What?
But, oh, stop interrupting. You're irritating me very much. But to prove to you how much I trust you, I'm going to settle £5,000 a year on you for life. Are you pleased?
Pleased? I'm delighted.
Ah.
And I thought I'd been irritating you to death all this time. You know, I almost believed that you disliked me. You'd no idea how miserable I've been.
Why?
Well, you were so intolerant, so horrid to me.
Horrid to you? What are you talking about? I've never been so nice to anyone in my life before.
Oh, now, 1 moment. Now, let's sort this out. You know you did everything you could to provoke me, to see if I was bad-tempered or not.
What do you mean? I wouldn't descend to anything so mean.
Oh, nonsense. You know you did. You used to nag the life out of me, see if I'd answer you back. And 1,000 other things you did.
What are you talking about?
Maria, you don't mean to say that this has been really you all the time?
Of course. Are you mad, Richard?
What, and this is how you'd be if we were married?
Of course.
Heavens be praised.
What for?
How much did you say you'd settle on me, Maria?
5,000 a year.
My income is 300 a year, and I know what it is to feel a millionaire.
Are you insulting me, Richard?
How long did your late husband live with you, Maria?
18 years.
What a man. What a constitution.
How dare you speak to me like that?
If you'd had the slightest idea how you've spoken to me during the last 3 weeks, you'd be sympathetic. Maria, dear, double that 5,000. Treble that 5,000. Give me every shilling you have in the world, and the answer would be no.
I have never been so degraded in all my life.
When I came away with you, I thought of you as I've always thought of you. One of the nicest women in the world. The only woman I've ever liked. But honestly, I've never known you at all. These last 3 weeks have made me realize that you are not, and never have been, one of the things I thought you.
You beast. Go away.
Before I go, Maria, there is one other thing I would like to say. May God bless you for your thoughtfulness and kindness to me.
Right, darling, what's the matter? Calm yourself, darling. What is it?
He's made me cry.
Brute. And for the first time in your life, darling.
I'm going to my room. I couldn't bear the beast to come in. And he'd been able to make me cry.
Richard?
Has she gone?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Where's George?
Sitting in the kitchen, stunned by the shock you gave him.
Mariah's lying on her bed in the same condition. If anyone had told you and me 3 weeks ago that...
I wouldn't have believed them.
Surely there must be, deep down, something rather nice about George for me to ever have been able to like him as much as I did.
I suppose there must be about Maria.
Spoilt from the day of his birth. To make him a decent man, he needs 6 months before the mast as a common sailor.
Alone with Maria.
Is there no way, Richard, we could do that for them?
There must be.
Let's think. Darling, you're losing control of yourself again.
I could scream the house down.
Why don't you? It might do you good.
How dare he stay here tonight?
There's no train until 6 in the morning. Surely you don't expect him to wait all night on a cold railway platform, do you?
Yes, I do.
Nonsense. Besides, it's not as though they were annoying you by being in the same room. They're sitting quietly together in the kitchen. Listen, not a sound. You wouldn't know they were even in the house. And Richard will be gone by 5.
Oh, to think that I brought the brute here to find out if I like him, and he has the audacity, the moment I tell him I do, to tell me he doesn't like me.
Outrageous. But wasn't that the idea?
What do you mean? I didn't bring him here to find out if he likes me.
No, silly of me.
Anyway, I don't know which of us is the luckier. I to have lost the vulgar man, or you to have discovered in time that you were anxious to marry a congenital idiot.
George isn't entirely an idiot.
Yes, he is. The word idiot is written in block letters all over his face. Who asked you to come in here?
No one. But I have the alternative of being with 2 extremely unpleasant women in here or 1 strong, silent man in there.
Have you quarreled with Richard?
Since he ticked off Maria, he's become so conceited there's no holding him.
Is he boasting that he ticked me off, as you call it?
Naturally.
May I ask the sort of things he's been saying about me?
He says he's going to dedicate his life from now on to making you into a decent woman. And he says he's discovered the way to do it.
How dare he say such a thing?
I agree, but he says it can be done.
Let me tell you one thing. If ever I see you again after you leave here at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning and you even dare speak to me, I'll cut you publicly.
If I ever speak to you again, Maria, I hope that everyone cuts me publicly.
Oh, Helen, how can you laugh at that horrid man?
I'm not laughing, darling. I was shocked at his impertinence.
Mrs. Wislack, may I have the key to the alcohol cupboard?
No, you may not.
Very well, but then may heaven have mercy on you.
You villain.
What's he done?
He stood out in the hall, I thinking he'd found a place to avoid some of the drafts, when I discovered he was merely there to listen to your conversation in here.